Well, good evening. Here we are at Spotify headquarters in Manhattan, New York. Here we are for the music meetup. It's a barbecued pulled pork sandwich. I have a smoker at home. Hardwood, pulled pork, a couple of sauces that I can't mention, a little jalapeno, a little coleslaw, and the rest is history, I guess you'd say. But Seth brings me in. I'm based out of Brooklyn, Greenpoint, Brooklyn, that is. That's about it. I hope everybody enjoys it. Thank you.
I'm Seth Hillinger. This is the New York MusicTech Meetup. Thanks for coming. Thanks for coming to Spotify. Thanks for Spotify for having us. And we have a new website. I'm going to show you real quick. It's NYMusicTech.com. And it's a basic WordPress site right now. But I don't know if you guys saw that we created a job board, which is kind of like our #1 feature request. And I just wanted to highlight some of the companies that are already listing their jobs on here. So Soundfly, Legends Media, Next Big Sound, Eventbrite, Songza, Cameo, Isotope, and what's that? Vinyl Mint. So awesome! Thank you, companies, for starting to fill up our job board. If you're looking, we hope that this can be like a great resource for both companies that are looking to hire people and people that are looking for jobs in this space. You know, that's what this meetup is all about, is just trying to support the community. So check it out. If you want to post something to it, you can just go to career opportunities, share an opening, and I hope this becomes like something that we all use. Okay, that's announcement #1. What else? Last month's video is now up on YouTube. Big thank you to Jolie, who's recording tonight's event as well. Let me just show you that one. Well, actually, so it's right. If we go here. Yeah. If my machine would scroll down. There we go. Yeah, so it's on the website, and then we're also kind of transcribing the QA portions. So this is what everyone at the last event asked David McKay about applause. But you can go to our YouTube channel, and you guys know how to use the internet, so I won't do that. Let's kick off the demos, get this thing going. Our first demo is going to be Spotlight FM, and I'm just going to hand the mic over to Michelle and, I'm sorry, not Michelle, to Alexander and crew. Yeah? Okay, cool.
All right, so I'm Alexander Kreindler. So at Spotlight FM, we're all about providing artists with opportunities. So Spotlight directly connects independent artists with talent buyers and consumers. Our platform enables artists to compete for live exposure, to connect with fans, and it allows our users to basically show direct support for an artist's career through their actions on our website. So this is our main page, which showcases the latest uploaded music. Here you can see the most popular and newest tracks that have been uploaded. And here are some of our current opportunities for artists. So let's take a look at one of these opportunities. So this is an opportunity to perform at a music festival in Denver, Colorado. It's been going for a while. As you can see here, there are only 2 days left for artist submissions. Over here are some of the rules and parameters that artists must meet in order to qualify for this, and just some general information about the event. So if I'm an artist and I want to participate in this, I can basically just click here. If I haven't created an artist profile yet, I can do that pretty quickly, and then just upload the track that I'd like to have considered for this opportunity. As a user, if I'm going to this festival, or if I just want to support an artist that I know, I can scroll down here and basically listen to this as a playlist or individually listen to these tracks and show my support by voting on the right here. So in this case, I voted here for a hip-hop duo called Flow Ohio. So this is their original submission, but let's look at their artist profile. So this is what an artist profile looks like. I can become a fan here, which will enable me to get updates about future activity. I can find more information about the artists here. Here are their social media profiles, where they're from, their description. And I can also see what other spotlight opportunities they've entered. In this case, they've entered a total of 10 opportunities. So actively here we have the dab roots that we just saw. And also, so we initially focused on electronic music and are moving slowly into other genres like hip hop. So Jizza in Oakland, Jizza is a member of Wu-Tang Clan, so we're pretty excited about that. So this whole page basically is an indication of the artist's professionalism, promotional reach, and general talent, and it's quickly becoming a major factor in influencing talent buyers' decision to book and choose winners for these events. So we can also see that they've uploaded 3 tracks here, and this is all great, but if the music sucks, that's no good. So let's take a look at one of these tracks, Smelly Apple. Let's hope it sounds better than it. So I can basically, here I can heart this track, which will enable me to build playlists in the future. I can see that 26 people have hearted it. We can comment on it here and see what other opportunities this has been submitted to. So I can listen to this while continuing to browse the platform. I don't know, we can listen to that. So if I'm a venue or I have a festival or I'm a talent buyer for something, I can quickly and easily create an opportunity through our self-service forum here. Basically enter my contact information, details around my event, and I can choose how I'd like my winners to be selected. So you can basically allow the voting process alone to determine the winner, sort of like a popularity contest, but we don't encourage that. We actually encourage people to pick from the top voted, because we think the most important aspect of all this is the actual talent. So for example, we can say here the top 10. We also always give away free tickets to people that voted in order to encourage actual user engagement in these opportunities. So if I've hosted an opportunity, there are a couple tools that I can take advantage of that help me actually promote the event and basically see how users are engaging with the platform. So let's look at one that just ended. So this is a music festival in Texas that they booked 3 artists for their stages. So I can go to the management dashboard and I can basically see all these analytics. We have page views, social media shares, traffic history, traffic referrals, and demographic information. They also integrate with Facebook, and we have iframes for websites, which they've both taken advantage of here. So this is their actual website, and they've advertised the opportunity here, and this is their Facebook. And they can directly pick and communicate with the artist through this platform. So as you can see, our platform not only allows talent buyers to find and book great talent, but also to promote their events. And we launched this in October, and in only 6 months, have seen over 100 opportunities come through our platform. And out of that process, we've seen 3 artists develop relationships that have led to them getting signed by major record labels and talent agencies. So we're extremely excited about that because it reinforced our vision of promoting independent artists and facilitating their careers. So with that, I'll open it to questions. And I'll actually bring my team up because, if there are development-related questions or some more business-related questions, they can answer them better than I can. So this is Ryan. He built the website, and this is Taylor. He does most of our business development. So.
For the talent data, the data that you have for the talent, is it all generated through the website, or is it integrated through their platforms? The page views, for instance, is that their page views within your platform? Oh, sorry. So the data that you have when a talent buyer sees it about an artist, Is that exclusively through your platform, or is it through your platform plus the various artist platforms?
So that data is coming from both. It's an aggregate of what we have, and then also basically just how many times it got viewed, period. So it's actually on the API call itself, if that makes sense.
Yeah, I was just curious how you guys have gotten like interest from all the different entities that you're trying to bring to the table here with the platform. Like, how have you gotten the festivals on board, and like what have you done to attract artists to sign up to the platform so far?
Okay, so before working for Spotlight, I actually run my own music festival in the Midwest, and then we also do talent buying for big clubs and stuff like that through the Midwest. So I've like fostered a lot of relationships over the years with different promoters and different people across the country. So we've basically just been tapping into those resources, and then we've seen like a big, retention from all the people that have come on it, and a lot of people just pushing it out to even more people. It's kind of been exponential. So yeah.
Yeah, we've also, initially it was all direct outreach, and now we've seen people come through the platform that we've never talked to and create opportunities through the self-service form. So we're very excited to see that.
So anybody can basically put their competition event up there, right? So how do you enforce that that will actually execute or it will happen, and how do you enforce that the prizes will go forward so that there's a positive brand experience at the end of the day for all of the parties?
So everyone kind of goes through like an approval process when it gets put on the site. So if you go through self-service, it will basically tell you waiting for approval, and then all of us get emails. We can basically run through, their promotional power mixed with, our market and user base in whatever city they're doing, and then we just kind of vet them before we let them put it up. And then we stay in like constant communication while the campaign's going, so we make sure that everything's like firing on all ends.
All right, thanks.
Yeah, I don't think we've actually seen an opportunity come through that we've agreed with and not approved.
Hi. Do you charge for either the submission for the opportunity or the submission for the artists?
We don't charge anyone at this point. We're always going to keep it free for the artists. We're basically focusing on scaling. We think that this is really valuable with scale, and especially as our talent base increases, this will be very powerful for talent buyers looking for talent. So right now we're not focused on that yet, but we have a couple of revenue streams in mind.
Sorry. What type of people are visiting your website? Let's say if I wanted to post a job, and like who might see that job posting?
So you mean if you needed like a producer or something like that, or?
Well, let's say what type of jobs are you looking to post on your website? Like, let's say if I wanted to post a job, what's the best market that you're tapping for jobs?
So currently it's really just music events. So we have individual shows at music venues or clubs or music festivals that are looking for DJs and bands and producers and that type of stuff, or hip hop artists. We haven't found people using it to actually look for professional talent in that sense. Not that it couldn't be used, but that's not what we're focused on. It's about musicians and producers. Does that answer your question? Sort of. Yeah.
What kind of demographics do you get on the people that are voting?
And, it's really opportunity case by case. So that music festival in Texas will get a bunch of people in Texas mostly.
So we use Facebook to sort of build those demographics.
That's to authenticate through Facebook?
You don't have to, but we can project based on the entire opportunity, based on that small sample, or actually it's a majority sample. But so point being, we get age demographics, we get gender demographics, we get location, and that's actually not based on Facebook, that's based on IP address. So that's basically the data that we collect currently. Also referrals, so we can see where people are coming from and how they engage with the site.
And does all of that data then go to the venue who's hosting the event?
That is correct.
Awesome.
Yep.
I'm just curious how you guys are going about marketing yourselves, since you're kind of coming in as a separate third party, and that ecosystem that already works through, everybody knowing each other within the music community and within the clubs. And, it's great you have a network in the Midwest. So how have you been going about things here in New York and anywhere else?
So we basically sell this as a marketing tool for these venues. Because if you think about it, I don't know, this just broke off, but a venue will post an opportunity and they will promote it through their channels. And we'll obviously promote it through ours, but they promote it to their existing channels. And then you have all these producers and DJs that hear about it and they come and submit. In order to win, they need to get all these votes. So they in turn hit their social media channels and get all these people to vote. And so that's how people find out about it. And if we get a bunch of opportunities on there, you have a network effect, and so we've seen a lot of success with that, overcoming this chicken egg problem that we faced in the beginning.
Okay, one more question.
Yeah, to be blunt about it, how are you paying your bills?
So we live in and work out of our apartment in Brooklyn. And we raised about $140,000 convertible debt to do this.
Cool, thanks.
Okay, awesome. Thank you, Spotlight. All right, so our next demo is Peatix, and we have Taku.
Hi, I'm Taku, the CEO of Peatix. Peatix is an event management and ticketing platform. We started out in Tokyo, Japan, 3 years ago, and since then we've had about 20,000 events use the platform, and we recently have expanded out into New York City. We hope to crack the New York City and U.S. market. So today we want to show you the future of the ticket, the future of the mobile ticket. Peatix, well, currently and in the past, our tickets come in the form of QR codes, and I see a lot of QR codes on the walls here, and I don't like it. And QR codes are very problematic. We've had an event for about 30,000 attendees in the past, and we had like 15, 20 people reading those QR codes for 30,000 attendees, and as you can imagine, there was a long line. It was in Osaka, Japan. The police came out. It was a nightmare. It took about a couple of hours to check those people in. So QR codes, we hate them. They're very problematic, and that's why we decided to get rid of QR codes and solve this problem. And that's how we came up with this idea called color sync. This is the future of the ticket. How it works. If I'm the organizer or the guy at the gate at the event, I have this iPad, PC, iPhone, whatever it is. This is my organizer screen. As you can see, there are many flashing colors in sequence. Now, ticket buyers or attendees are going to approach me at the gate, and I have my team here who's going to show you. Could you stand up and show it to the crowd here? Do you see what's going on? It's pretty much self-explanatory. Valid tickets will be flashing in the same color sequence. And that's it, I'm done. This is it, really. These color sequences, so we're relying on the human brain, human eye, which is much faster in recognizing aberrations or something out of the norm. So it's really like you line up 20 people and pick out the bad guy. You pick him out of the line in the costume and ask him what's up. And so the other 19 people, you just let them in. So color sync is very fast, it's very secure, it's truly the future of the ticket. And we hope that we can talk to you about using color sync for your next concert or live events. That's really it. I'm sorry, it's just very simple, very elegant. Thank you.
Awesome. Okay. I love it. Here we go.
Could you talk about how it works?
How it works. So each event will have its unique color sequence. This is updated randomly every 30 seconds or so. You see what I mean? So it's very hard to, you could have the smartest hacker out there trying to break this code, try to replicate this sequence, but by the time he does it, it will have had a new color sequence. And so it's just impossible to replicate. So it's very secure. Does that answer your question?
Is it a combination of the actual colors or the uniqueness? I don't know if this is a 256
It's a random.
colors. Is it the timing of the changing of the colors?
Yes, they're in sequence. They're flashing at the same intervals, at the same colors. Colors are actually in the back end. They're just a sequence of numbers, color codes, right? And each color code will produce a different color on each device. That's all it is. And they're just randomly generating a sequence, let's say 10 color numbers every 30 seconds or so.
So each legal ticket actually has the same thing. They're not unique to each ticket. Each legal ticket has the same colors and the same sequence as you do.
As I do. So if it's a different event, it'll have a different color sequence.
So you don't need an internet connection.
You do.
You do.
You do.
You do. Okay. I missed that part.
This is designed for LTE, 4G or above, is what we think. It'll work on a carrier network. Wi-Fi, obviously. Yeah.
Okay.
So I'm a hacker. Well, I'm not a good hacker, but I think I think that's pretty easy to hack.
I'll give you $100 if you can crack this.
I mean, all I need to do is buy one ticket
I'm
and
serious.
then send the RGB data to my
Where
other
is he?
friends.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I can hack that pretty easily.
You can. Why don't you come into our office and we can, shoot the, and see how.
But if I understand your argument,
This is a good challenge. Why don't we do this? I'm serious. I'll buy you dinner and give you $100 for. But we've tested this with many engineers, and it's so far nobody has done it.
just say what you would do again, because I haven't figured that part.
I mean, I would just put in like some photo cells on top of my screen or whatever, then broadcast the RGB data to like a network.
That's a pretty good one, actually. But I'll tell you what. I'll bring that idea back to our engineers and see what they say.
In your presentation, you were saying that it would be something that a human being could look at. Otherwise, you're saying, well, then okay, there needs to be a scanning mechanism, right?
Right.
So then you're really saying it has to somehow be more accurate and as you say, less hackable than a QR code.
Yes.
So how do you guarantee that's the case if you're trying to get platform, independence?
As I explained, it's the color sequence. I'm going to repeat my answer, but the color sequence you can't guess what it's going to be. It's randomly generated at very short intervals. So how do you replicate that? No. They're being randomly. There are an infinite number of combinations.
Hey, so have you implemented this already?
I'm sorry?
Have you used it already? Has it been
Yes,
implemented?
for a number of test events, yes.
And what is...
It works very well. It's very fast.
Cool.
Just curious if you thought about how you would use this for, I guess you're only using this for general admission events so far. Have you thought about seated events at all?
Well, seated events is a tough one. You could. I mean, as long as it's a valid ticket, it could show in big fonts the seat number. That's all it is.
Well, continuing that question, how do you check the age? If it's age-restricted space, and if the person is just holding this in their hand, you can't tell if the person is holding the right device at the right person's hand. How do you check the identity?
I think the next version will have a photo of the person right here in the middle. I'm sorry, if this was the phone, it would have a photo of you, and you can just match the photo with the person who's holding the device. And if you're really worried, you can ask for ID.
To go back to your point on how this is only available for devices that have LTE, et cetera, how would you compete then with other mobile ticketing providers like Ticketfly or whoever else that allow people to add tickets to their passbook, have things being integrated into their device that's available for offline use?
That's a good question. I think color sync is very powerful for very large scale events when you're under a lot of time pressure. Let's say you have to check in 800 people within 30 minutes, and we've had plenty of instances like that. That's when it's very effective. Ticketfly has QR codes probably. So.
Yes, I have a question. So let's say I was holding a concert event and I hired you to do the ticketing. And for some reason, as he explained, somebody hacks into the system, broadcasts it through the network. Am I protected in any way from that if it fails?
We will guarantee that it works. Look, it's much easier to replicate a QR code. You take a screenshot, you take that. It's much insecure with QR codes. This is much more secure, we believe.
Is it affected in any way by if I have, say, Sprint and you have Verizon? Verizon's so much faster. Does that affect like slow data? Does it affect it at all?
I'd say currently it does somewhat, and we're working out with all the. I mean, we're from Japan, with the country with the fastest network in the world. I think. I'm sorry, no disrespect, but it does tend to be a little slow here with certain carriers. But we have faith in the future. We're building for the future. I think within 2 years, network issues will go away.
Does this mean that colorblind bouncers are out of a job?
I knew we were going to get.
Why don't you have like some sort of text or something?
One could appoint somebody who's not colorblind to man the game.
That's discrimination.
I say this because I'm colorblind myself, which is very ironic. I am colorblind. I'm sorry. It's not discrimination. You have plenty of friends probably. You could find somebody who's not colorblind. I can say this because I'm colorblind. So,
all right. So I may have missed this, but are you looking to build something to license out to ticket brokers, or do you have aspirations to become a ticket broker yourself?
That's certainly an idea that's been floating around right now. We're just we're providing this to our customers using the Peatix platform. I'm sorry.
Hi, you talk about the photo.
I'm sorry?
You talk about the photo in the middle.
Yes.
And if one of my friends bought a ticket for me, his picture with his account will be there on this screen. So if I'm going to the event.
We actually have a gifting feature that you can buy a ticket for somebody else and you can forward that to your friend, and that person will go through the entire process.
Okay, last question. Coming right over here.
I feel like I'm missing something. Can you explain, if I'm the ticket guy, I'm waiting for you to come up to me, how do I know I let you in? I don't understand. I'm missing the process. I come
If you're the organizer,
it's flashing
okay.
colors and I'm the gate guy.
Okay.
What am I supposed to do?
When a ticket holder activates the ticket, and the activate button will not appear unless the attendee is at the venue on event day at the time of the event. So once that activate button appears, you tap on that button. In the back end, your status is checked in. You're at the event.
So the guy doesn't have to know the colors that are flashing.
No, he's got a device on him as well, so they synchronize.
Yeah.
All right. Awesome. Thank you,
Thank
Taku.
you.
If you have more questions, find him afterwards. Good job. Thank you. Okay. That was pretty cool. So what do I have next? Let's keep the ball rolling, right? OpenAura is next. We have Bill Wilson. Yeah, Bill.
So here's the wee little screen. So my name is Bill Wilson, and I am VP of Content Partnerships and Operation for a company called OpenAura. And what we do is we are helping app developers and applications make music beautiful. So the current situation with music UX is that it's very simple. It's based sort of on a very 80s vision of a bio and an album photo and a square album cover. And the problem that exists in the marketplace is that artists currently have no way to control what's going on with what we call their digital aura, which is what represents them visually around the web and with proprietary content. So there are two problems here. Obviously, you have music services apps, DSPs, who need to build wonderful and robust interactive experiences on all sorts of screens. But what they need is a scalable library of content to build those applications. And on the other side, artists currently have no way to filter, control, or monetize their aura. So OpenAura, we solve those two problems. And here's how we do it. We have a visual identity toolkit that enables developers to actually go in and source a huge library of content that comes from the social web, additional content from third parties, and the artists themselves to build this vast library of content. And there's our little Aura bot. And when you go to the OpenAura, hey yo. So we recently launched about a month and a half ago, and what you see is currently on the OpenAura homepage, and it's designed for artist curators and is a showcase for what our API can do. And you can see that we have a box here that says, find and claim your aura now. And what that means is artists can actually go in, and after authenticating via a process, they become, if you see, a little purple check mark that allows them to go in and curate their digital aura. And here's Metallica's page. If you notice, they have been claimed by the kind folks at Q Prime. And what they have here is all the sources that are available socially for the artist. And here are all the images that have been curated by the artist. And again, this is all available via our API to enable developers to build whatever they want with respect to visual experiences for artists. So we have two different flavors of our API currently available. The first one is a free API, and that's based on the classic vision of what you guys all know and what I talked about before, which is, essentially an artist bio, a promo photo, and some facts around the artist that's sourced socially or directly from the artist curators. We also have a premium API that has a deeper structure that will allow users to come in and mine the full library of content, including all of the images that we have on the site. So if you want to go in and use the Info Classic API right now, that's free to use commercially today. And if you'd like to use the Info Premium API, you can contact us. So we've had our first integration, commercial integration, with the site called A-Tracks, and here again you see Metallica. And that is their curated profile image with a source bio that's currently from Wikipedia, but the entire experience is powered by OA. And I will say that we use all the social sites with the attribution that is required by the terms of service from all the social sites, and we have had extensive communications and negotiations with all of those social sites. So that usage of the social site is pretty clean, if you were concerned about that, because I know that will probably wind up being a question. So that's pretty much the story about OA. Again, we are looking to help you power the next generation of music user experiences. We believe that we've built an incredible library of content. We are continuing to build an incredible library of content. And we look forward to seeing what you guys can build with OA. And if you are an artist, we encourage you to come in and claim your aura and to be able to manage your profile. And if you're a DSP or a developer looking to build, you can visit developer.openaura.com and you can follow us on Twitter or send us a quick email. Again, my name is Bill Wilson and I work for OpenAura. Any questions?
So I was wondering, if we consumed your API and you give us all the URLs to all these images, do we have to then mirror them on our own servers, or are you guys eating the hosting bill for us?
Essentially, you're pinging the API and you're bringing them in. So yeah, I mean, there's going to be, we're serving, the cost is mostly on us, but obviously there's going to be a cost, a commercial implementation cost for you guys.
Thank you for your presentation. How do you control the quality? It's purely up to the artist to sort of make that, so it's a sort of a crowdsourced quality control.
So we have, right now, we have several 100,000 bot created, the little robot that I had on the screen right there. So we've crawled the web and we've actually curated the authentic profiles of social profiles for artists. So we have an automatic profile right now for virtually every artist in the marketplace. Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, Wikipedia, etc. And then when the artist comes in, for example, Metallica, Q-Prime, they can come in and they can add individual sources. So when Q-Prime comes in and adds stuff for the Chili Peppers, for example, they can add individual feeds. When Crush Management comes in and does stuff for Fall Out Boy, they can add Pete's individual Instagram feed to that and curate what their vision is. And then coming soon, they're going to be allowed to have their own content in there. So they'll be sourced, again, content directly from the artists themselves.
So what about all the stuff that's just out there? The fan takes pictures at the concert, posts them on their Flickr page, the Getty Images stuff, concert, all the stuff that's just out there.
There will be a lot of premium content partnerships. There will be a lot of different partnerships that we'll be getting into down the road. Obviously sourcing from multiple parties. But right now, we're focusing on sourcing directly from the artist's social profiles, and we're not getting into curating fan content because that's kind of a quagmire and really is definitely hard to authenticate. What we're looking to do is creating the authentic vision of the artist.
Don't a lot of artists use Flickr as their photo page on their website?
Right, and we are sort of, they can add some of that stuff to their own profiles. Again, we're putting the control back in the hands of the artist to pull in the various social feeds that they need to.
Hi, if you're monetizing, how are you, if you're monetizing, how are you splitting with the artists, and do you split with the photographers as well?
Yes, so this is all about art, right? This is the fusion of visual commerce, and it's also the fusion of, what we're trying to do for the artists themselves. So we have to pay very careful attention to how we're protecting all of the artists, and that just doesn't include the bands, it includes, obviously, photographers. So, as we look into those issues, we're taking care of that, and the way that the revenue is split ongoing as we continue to generate a monetizable service is that we split the revenue after OA takes our share, is that we split 60-40 with the artists and the providers of the content. I don't want to, should I pick, or what do you want to do?
So I feel like this gentleman on the last one, because I'm missing a piece of this. So I get it, you're gathering all this content, this visual data. So is this so, like, for example, if I'm listening to Spotify on my computer and I'm listening to an artist and I'm looking at the visual presentation of the artist, if Spotify is using your API, that visual is going to come up? Is that, am I getting that?
Essentially, right now that exists on most DSPs is you get one profile image. That's probably old, and the bio's probably out of date. The artist actually can't go in there and change it. With OpenAura, what we do is enable the syndication of that entire aura and put the power back in the artist's hands and pay them. So that's part of what we do.
Hi, are you looking to extend beyond just images and bios and social media to be able to tag your own music and classify it to compete with like a Rover or Echo Nest?
What we're doing right now is very focused on image-oriented platform. That's where we're currently focusing. I mean, the company is a little bit less than a year old, and our API just launched, so we're really kind of galvanizing this. First, the first wave is artists coming in and claiming their social auras and helping to curate and moving that forward. And then, I really can't comment on all the things that the future might bring, but right now we're focused very heavily on information and images.
Do you...
Wait.
I'm over here.
Where are you? Oh, hi, sorry.
Are all the images at the artist level, or do you have any sort of tied to a UPC or an album or a single?
That is probably one thing that we will be working on at some point is, obviously I was speaking to a gentleman before who's very interested in machine learning, and the direct connection between the artist and the underlying information and creating a better web of interest in the music and a more immersive experience is really what we're about. So I would say keep your eyes peeled for things like that in our API.
Hey, Bill, any interest? I mean, it sounds primarily like a B2B situation.
Yeah, this is definitely, this is definitely not the last mile to the consumer. We are providing a true B2B service in a way that has never been provided to either the developer community or the artist community before, and creating a new monetizable asset for the artist. So, yeah, we're focused primarily on that.
You see yourselves becoming a place for people to go and get the full-fledged experience, or like aggregate all that stuff in one really updated, slick place?
As far as a consumer experience, we haven't really thought about that. B2B is really our core focus right now. We believe that our APIs will enable great developers and great UX to be built on all of these different types of assets. Again, a scalable library of content.
Looks excellent. Dire need.
It's very hard. I'm just kind of like looking around.
So as you probably know, any one artist can have 10 entities or companies claiming to represent that artist digitally. They might say they have the rights. They may have the rights to represent that artist. They may come to you. So how do you foresee handling those kinds of
Authentication is based primarily on if you can control the artist's social feed and you have the keys to their official Twitter or official Facebook. That's the first stage in authentication. And then with monetization, we have a authentication process that kind of goes a little further down the rabbit hole.
Right. So if an artist comes to you and says, and gets the keys to their profile, and then Sony comes in and says, no, actually we manage that artist, how are you going to deal with those situations?
Well, I mean, right now this is designed for artists and managers. I mean, there are probably edge case scenarios where there could be different types of deals that artists have with different types of, and we're going to have to confront individual edge cases as they come up. But for the most part, this is a very linear relationship between artist manager claiming their profile and being able to directly kind of work with all the assets to curate their profile.
Any more questions? We got more.
That's it? Cool. Thanks, guys.
OpenAura to me is, all these demos have been awesome already, but OpenAura is just another example of like one of these startups that's kind of smashing the whole music industry into pieces, and I love it. Not that I want it. But, all right, so hailing from London, grew up in Pennsylvania somewhere, right? Philadelphia, right? Cool. Brussels. Now he lives in Fort Greene.
Hey guys, my name is Nico Perez. Thanks to Seth for inviting me down here. I'm co-founder of a web service called Mixcloud. And I recently moved to Fort Greene from London. Is anybody from Brooklyn here? A couple people. Okay, that's good. So for those that don't know, Mixcloud is a web hosting service for DJs, radio presenters, and podcasters. Our mission is basically to try and make the world of radio better. I started it with a buddy of mine from college. We used to have a radio show together. We used to DJ. In fact, we still DJ to this day. And about 4 or 5 years ago, what we were finding is that it was really difficult to host a radio show or a DJ mix online legally, where people could share it, they could comment on it, they could embed it on their social media profiles, etc., etc. So that's kind of the idea behind Mixcloud. We've been building it for the past 4 years in London. We've got a team of about 15 people there, and we're entirely bootstrapped, which is kind of unique in this world of $100 million raises. And so today I wanted to sort of walk you through how it works, and Seth said that it's good to sort of actually give a live demo and show people how it works. So I'm going to give that a go. Hopefully the internet will hold up, and we'll see how it goes. So this is the homepage. If you're logged out, you can see a little bit about how you can rediscover the beauty of radio, listen anywhere, and unlimited uploads. That's my best radio voice. You can see some of the content that's popular right now. So got Carl Cox on there. He's a big EDM DJ. Lefto, he's a big DJ from Belgium. Most of the content is in the sort of electronic space. You can see Avicii puts his podcast up about once a week. We do have some jazz, some funk, some hip hop, Afrobeat, and even some talk shows and some comedy and some news on there. I'm going to go ahead and log in. Actually, no, I'm going to create a profile because I need a new profile. Crazy email address. That's my username. Crazy password. Okay, so I'm going to show you guys the upload. So when you're uploading, all you have to do is choose a file. This is a mix that I prepared earlier in my favorite DJ software. It could be Tractor, it could be Ableton, you could be using Serato, whatever you wish. And when you select the mix, you just simply give it a name. I'm just going to call it demo. Hit upload. And while it's going, I think this is really cool. We've built a system where you can choose your image. I'm just going to take one from here. Let's take this image for each. And what we've done and what we've tried to focus on with Mixcloud is the experience not only as a DJ or a radio presenter, but also as a listener. And what we wanted to ensure was that, one of the things we hated most was when you're listening to a radio show or a DJ mix, that song comes on and you don't know what it is. And so what we wanted to ensure is that there's as much metadata around each upload as possible. So you can add a tag, you can say, in this case, it might be funk. You can add that tag. You can give it a description. I'm just gonna put z. Hello. And you can do advanced options, like you can choose the page color that goes behind it, things like that. This is a little cool hack. If you actually pick the color here, actually the hack's not working right now. Okay, well, it used to. But if you scroll down, you'll see this area around timestamping. And what timestamping is the ability to put in the markers through your radio show or your mix around where each song or each chapter starts and ends. So you can listen to it whilst you're
Better days for you to see. Hey, yo, my mic is down above. Bob, now are you there? Yeah. You don't want to be left behind. All we want to do is...
This one is called
Tropical Snow.
So I'm just going to pause it there while I do this. So what's really cool is you might have pre-written a track list. A lot of DJs do this. You also might have used a different type of software and have been able to export the track list from whatever your software is. You can then go ahead and copy and paste it. And with one click, swift move, you get the track list. And I'll just show you the format that it was before. So it was just normal sort of text format. Try and zoom in on that. And with a simple copy and paste, you can put it in here. We automatically sort of roughly divide and partition the mix or the radio show up into the number of tracks that you have. And then you can go ahead and you can change the times and you can move these guys around. You can say, oh, actually this song starts here and this song, you know, the intro only starts there and all this. And what that means is that when you save it, when somebody's listening to that show later on and they hit play, they'll be able to know what song is being played at each given time. So we think that's kind of cool.
What it takes for you to see.
So, here's some of the other cool things that you can do. You've got the track list down here that you can scroll through. You can also share the Cloudcast really easily and post it to your Facebook, Twitter, Google+, WordPress, you name it, we got it. And we've got an embeddable widget as well that you can also change. So you can decide to show a cover, it updates itself, or you can take off the cover. You can make it a mini player. Take off the cover. You can make it the light version. Hopefully this updates. There we go. You can choose whether you want it to fill 100% of your width, whether you don't. And so this is something that you can take and you can embed it on any of your websites or social media profiles if you wish. So that's kind of the service and the websites from a DJ or radio presenter's point of view. But what about if you're a listener? So if you're a listener, you know, the model is really kind of very similar to Twitter or any other service where you can follow somebody and get updates in your feed. So you've got a feed of, you know, what your friends are listening to, what they're enjoying, and that's one way of discovering new content. And you can sort of scroll through that and see what everybody else is listening to. You can see new uploads from people you're following. So I can see, you know, Worldwide Festival. This is a festival in Europe, and they've just put up a new mix by a podcast by Lefto. You can see what's trending, what's hot. You can see some of your favorites. And you can also create playlists around entire radio shows or DJ mixes. Another way to browse is to look at the categories. So if we go to the categories page, you can see this is kind of a breakdown of our different music and talk categories. Or if you were looking for somebody that you knew already, then you could search for them. So, you know, I could search for, say, Diplo. You could see here are some of the mixes, radio shows. We call them cloudcasts. This is our umbrella term that we've kind of come up with, podcasts that live in the cloud. And you know, you can see some of the people who have names like Diplo, and you can sort of go to his profile. This is where he uploads his Radio 1 show, and you can see some of the different shows that are up there. Choose one to play whenever you want.
BBC Radio 1 Extra.
It's a bit loud. All these young kids nowadays. Cool, so that's about, I'll just show you quickly also, we do a lot of competitions. So we run competitions with EDC, for example, big EDM festival, doing a competition with Ministry of Sound, lots of competitions in Ibiza, around Europe. Hoping to do more here in America, so if anybody's interested in that side of things, come let me know. And also if you're working with brands, if anybody here is doing any work with brands or advertisers, we have a whole section about how we work with brands and how we help them sort of create and curate content. So we've done a lot of work with Adidas, Malibu, Rum, Red Bull, Coca-Cola, people like that. And we really, our mission is to try and help them create good content that listeners actually enjoy and that adds to make the experience better at the end of the day. So that's basically it. As I mentioned earlier, I've just moved here from London about 5 or 6 weeks ago. And I'm really kind of new to the world of New York. So if you'd like to speak to me about partnering, whether it's on, the content side with a DJ or a radio presenter or a festival or somebody like that, or also on the commercial side, then come grab me afterwards. I'd be more than happy to discuss things with you guys and come meet with you. And I think we have 5-10 minutes for questions if anybody has questions. Or we can just listen to something if you want.
Hi. So I've read before that you guys speak sort of proudly about paying licensing.
Yeah, that's
like
correct.
Rare some other DJs, but I mean, for the most part, there's mixes up there with no track lists and mixes that play like the same artist's album. So I mean, essentially, if there was no DMCA, would you guys have to go out of business overnight, or like?
It's a good question, you know, and I think, look, I'm not going to stand here and say that we're perfect and that we have track lists for absolutely everything and it's all amazing. The reality of the situation is that with any user-generated site, you're going to have holes and you're going to have missing data. What we try and do is do our best efforts. So, you know, everything around making the track list input easier. We're going to be working with some of the DJ software providers as well around collecting that data. And then on top of that, we actually do audio fingerprinting to determine what goes into each radio show or DJ mix. And if you compare that with the status quo, which is you know, the iTunes podcast directory, file sharing sites, Zshare, mega upload file, or whatever you want, in those cases, 0% of royalties are getting paid. And so we may not be perfect, but if we get, you know, 80, 90, 95%, we think we're doing, you know, a good job.
So to tag on to that, of course, I have to ask how you guys see yourselves competing with SoundCloud. I mean, obviously, you make a great point. Having those track lists there is absolutely crucial to the listener having the best experience. I was just curious also, because SoundCloud, a lot of times when people upload a mix, they immediately will shut it down because of DMCA. Is it through the tagging and then linking users out to the purchase links that you get around that? I was curious how that works.
Yeah, it's a good question. So we've known the SoundCloud guys since pretty early on. And you know, I think they've really done a great job at building a tool for artists who own the copyright in their work. But you know, the truth is that if you're playing other people's music, then that can be a problem. And they've now reached a scale where they're on the radar of the major labels, and you know, they're having to do copyright takedowns. We actually have licenses with collecting societies. So we pay PRS, PPL, Sound Exchange, ASCAP, BMI, SESAC, SOCAN, et cetera, and you know, part of those deals is that we do have limitations and we do have restrictions on what we can do. So for example, we can't offer downloads. We'd love to be able to offer downloads, but that's just something that, you know, our hands are sort of tied. We'd love to offer offline caching, be able to do things like that. But there's certain restrictions that we're not allowed to do. So, you know, at the end of the day, I guess we believe that there's space for both of us, and we believe that there's utility in both SoundCloud and Mixcloud. And hopefully people will find that, you know, there's a difference enough to use both services.
Hey, so great demo, love the product, seems like you guys are doing really, really well.
Thanks.
I feel like in startups in general, especially on the B2C side, companies really struggle to monetize. And then even on the B2B side, especially when you're catering to artists, startups really struggle to monetize. And I often hear it said, you know, we're going to try to go after brands. We're going to get brand money. They're going to fund our operations. They're going to kind of enable us to bootstrap. And it seems like you guys have really actually done that. So what was that road like? What value do you provide them? And kind of how did you start doing that to begin with?
I could probably talk to you for 2 hours about this, but I'll try and keep it brief. You know, as I mentioned early on, we bootstrapped it, right? When we tried to start this company, we went around all the VCs, we went around all the angels, and this is 5 years ago. So Spotify hadn't launched, SoundCloud, I think it just launched, Beats didn't exist, Deezer hadn't raised $100 million, et cetera, and it was a very different market back then. So, you know, we frankly failed miserably at raising money, and what that meant was that we had to sort of figure out quite early on how to generate revenue ourselves. And so from, you know, day one pretty much, we were talking to brands, we were talking to advertisers, we were talking to people trying to understand how they think about music, how they approach this, and how we can help them. And also, equally importantly, what the special sauce and what the special assets in Mixcloud are. And you know, what we figured out is that actually, you know, what makes Mixcloud really unique is the depth of engagement that we see from the listener side. So our average listening length is 28 minutes, which in the world of the internet and the web is a lifetime. Most websites see sort of 30 seconds or a minute or something like that. So when we approach a brand and we talk to them and we say, yeah, you could spend $100,000 making a YouTube video that people will engage with for a minute, or you could spend maybe half that and help curate a mix series that people are going to engage with for 20 minutes, 30 minutes, maybe even 40 minutes. And when they think about it like that, and when the brands understand that they don't just want to blast the user with annoying ads, that's when we really make the connection, and that's kind of what we've managed to do and what's helped us survive, really. I have a question.
Great product and welcome to New York. All I want to know is how your competitions work.
It really depends on who we're working with. So, if it's a cultural partner, let's say, it's a venue or maybe even a DJ himself or somebody like that, or a festival, then we usually do it on a contra basis. There's no financial exchange. If it's with a brand like, say, Red Bull or Coca-Cola, then there's going to be a financial element to it. But usually the format is, there's a prize. Usually we try and always go for a sort of a money can't buy prize, and by that what we recommend most often is the DJ slot at your favorite festival or warming up for your favorite DJ or something like that, and then we connect our 500,000 DJs with that opportunity.
Cool demo. Just had a question for you. Is there a mobile app service for this? And if so, would I be able to upload a song from my iTunes playlist on my iPad directly into Mixcloud?
Yes, we have an Android app, we have a mobile website, and we have an iOS app that was actually featured by Apple. And I've got the new version in my pocket, so if you want to see the new version, you can come see me after. With regards to your question about whether you can upload directly from mobile, no, we don't offer that at the moment.
Hi. I always end up asking this question, and I hate to be sort of the bad guy in this case, but you talked about licensing, you talked about MCPS and PRS music and stuff. I don't know how much you know about the US sort of licensing ecosystem and regime. It's not just about having a notice and takedown if there's a challenge for takedown, but there is an ecosystem of licensing that involves on demand, it involves public performance rights, mechanical rights, rights for the sound recording, that from what I can see from what you're doing, obviously I don't understand all the details, it seems to be a bit more complex than the list of people that you claim that you're paying. Sound exchange, for example, doesn't apply with what you're doing. This doesn't fall under the section of the Copyright Act that sound exchange covers. So I'm just, I would advise you, in my experience, that you should get good counsel who really does understand this, who can tell you what your obligations are so they don't get sued out of existence, because somebody will do that. And that you learn and pay, since you are now making money from somebody, from brands or whatever, for the rights that you're using, because otherwise you're going to be in trouble. Because there's a lot going on there. People uploading stuff, they're uploading copyrighted files that record companies own the rights to the master recording, and publishers own the rights to the underlying compositions. And so I would just advise you to maybe hire somebody really knowledgeable and good to look into that for you.
Absolutely. Thanks for the advice. We actually work with Pandora's lawyer, and Section 114 of the Copyright Act has a whole description around archived radio programs. But thanks for your thoughts. Appreciate it. All right, I think that's time. Thank you.
Okay. Woo. Debbie, you always have to get so serious there at the end. It's the truth, and at the same time, what I love about the music tech space is that people are not worrying about the money, and they are creating just cool things that they're having fun doing, and but that's the whole point of this group, is that we learn from each other, we help each other out, and we try to be successful together. That's the only way we're going to survive. unless you have $1 billion valuation like Spotify. And that leads me to our last demo. We have Drew from Spotify who's going to be sharing some stuff with us.
Hey everybody, my name's Drew. As was said, I work at Spotify. I'm a developer, so this is going to be a bit more, a little technical, just a little bit, not too much. Hopefully not too bad. So, first of all, I want to go through some of the APIs that we have and some of the APIs made by our friends at the Echo Nest because they do some really cool things. And specifically, I want to go through these because you all sound like you're very cool people, and as entrepreneurs and stuff, and I want you to know what we can do for you and how we can help you and how we can help each other. So, first of all, Echo Nest has some really cool things around the artist API that they have. You can do normal things like search for an artist, makes sense. But you can also do things like find all the video that an artist appears in on the internet, or like find images that are related to that artist. Things that might normally take a human to do. You also have, you can also rank artists by things like hotness with 3 T's. That's very important to know about. Yeah. So here's an example of using one of the libraries that they provide. It's a Python library. It's very simple. Here's related artists to Lady Gaga. 2 lines of code, super simple. If you go to their website, you can sign up right now, and I'll have that on the screen in just a moment. They also have a thing called the Song API, which makes it's just looking up songs, right? So you can look up songs by an ID or a name and get things like what you'd expect, right? Things about the song, but also things like timbre. Like, what does the song sound like? How loud is it? How danceable is it? And even tons of metadata about beat detection. So if you want to sync up things in your app or sync up things in your experimental hack to audio beats happening, you can do that. So here's an example of what finding the loudest songs by thrash artists looks like. It's very simple, just like, give me thrash, yes! Or jogging, like let's say I want to go jogging and I need songs. Just search for it, it's really simple. So Echo Nest has some really cool things that can really push you forward. I feel like I'm like peering out into you. This light is like right here. And they also have, for times when you don't actually have the track in the Echo Nest, maybe it's like something you wrote, right? Or created and uploaded to Mixcloud, was it? Right? If you were to do that, you could actually upload it to the Echo Nest and they would analyze it for you and even give you back information about it, like how danceable, oh, thank you. Oh, wow. Give you information back about how, about the song itself, the timbre, the pitch, the loudness, things like danceability, things that I said before, beat detection. Okay. And of course, they have a ton of other things too, and you can all try it out. Here's their website. Please use it. It's awesome. I can put this up later. I don't know what's going on with that. I can put this up later if you want, but it's just github.com/echonest, developer.echonest.com. Super simple. Now, let's talk about some stuff we do in here in Stockholm and other places where Spotify exists. Some of these you may be familiar with. Some simple things like our Spotify play button. You can play music on a web page. Yay. Or our follow button. You can follow your favorite artists on a web page. These are all good things. They exist today. We also have Live Spotify that lets you embed Spotify in devices and other applications. It's a native library. And we also just recently announced our iOS SDK beta, which is going to eventually replace Live Spotify in certain ways. It's super fresh, super fast. It's totally new from the ground up, super light. Of course, a little technical information here. Uses some static snapshots instead of keeping everything in memory. And it's not quite finished. But you can try it out today if you want. There's a brand new beta release on GitHub today, or actually like 4 days ago. So just really recent, really working hard on it. Here's the address for more information. Now, that's the stuff that exists and has existed. Here's something new that not too many people know about, but we've been working really hard on. We have a new web API that's coming out. It's not out yet, but it has some cool stuff in it. So first of all, oops, I skipped a slide. First of all, kind of standard stuff. You can look up tracks, albums, artists. You can supply an ID to do that, or you can query. You can say, give me artists that are like this, or have this in the title. And as a demo, let's see here. Here's a very simple demo. Yeah, that's big enough. I'm going to search for scientists. Hey, came back. Okay, cool. But the best part.
One moves, so nobody.
Okay, so obviously, I think it makes sense. We're Spotify, we should be able to play music. But what's so cool about this is how simple it is. All this does, all right, super big, super big, super big. Check it out. This is the query that I made in the web browser. This is searching for scientist against this API, and we get, whoa, oh my God. It's so much JSON, I can't. It's, wow. But I do see something really cool in there, and that's this guy right here. It's an MP3. So if you need an MP3 to preview the track, it's a 30-second preview, that's pretty easy to do now. And the coolest part about this little demo is that there are there's no Spotify SDK that you need to include in this. The only dependencies, not even dependencies, we use some jQuery here for stuff, and then some other JavaScript, but there's nothing actually that you need from us. You just make a request to a URL and you get data back. And you can even play music. It's super simple, there's no flash, transport, nothing like that. Okay. So let's look up and search. It gets super cool though when you start talking about actual data. So I'm a user of Spotify, I would hope. And you can query for stuff about me. So let's check out what that looks like. Here's what's cool. Here's my little demo here. Normally, when you need to do authentication with a service, you need to do some complicated handshake, you need to worry about crazy APIs or crazy native things or just all sorts of hairiness that we don't like to talk about. But with this, we get to use OAuth. So I can log in here. Hey, check it out. Yes, I would love to give you access to my account. That's amazing. Oh, there it is. And there I am. So there's my information, easily queryable, no external libraries. The only thing we did was make a web request. If I show you the code, I know it's small, but just trust me on this. We opened a window and made it point to a web address, and it worked. So it was very simple, very easy to integrate. And I have one more demo for you regarding playlists. So check it out. Once again, I log in as myself. Yes, please do. Hey, it's my library. These are the playlists that are in my library right now. And I can even click one and get information back about that playlist. Now it's read-only right now. Eventually it'll be write, and you'll be able to save playlists and all that cool stuff. But for right now, that's it. Okay, so there's more info here. It's under a password. The reason for that is because it's still incomplete, and we don't want people relying on it until we've fleshed it out. But if you have a great idea and you're like, oh man, I need it right now, I need it now, then you just need to email us, and we give you access. It's super easy. It should take just a few minutes. And all those demos that I just showed are actually available there. So that's basically it. Oh man, why is that? That's basically it. Here's more information. Again, as I said, if you want access, Web API, feedback@spotify.com. Follow Spotify platform because that's where you get cool dev stuff about Spotify on Twitter. And I'm Drew. That's it. Okay, cool. Questions?
Hey, what can so there are these 30-second previews. What can I do with those legally?
What would you like to do with them legally?
I would like to sync video to them.
I think that'd be fine.
Really?
Yes.
Is there somebody in your legal department I can talk to?
Actually, if you have any questions, you can email Web API feedback. Actually, anything regarding that, more in depth than that, for sure.
Hey, I have a mic.
With the web API, if I'm logged in, can I play the full track?
Currently, not right now. We all want it. Don't worry. We want it.
So yeah, I'd like to ask an Echo Nest question.
I will try to answer it.
Congrats on the acquisition. So you can answer this. Elephant in the room about that. You know, Echo Nest was for a while a music consumption point agnostic data provider. After the Spotify acquisition, they're no longer really an agnostic provider.
Did you just try to call us Spoticorp?
No, that's your word. RDO notably dropped, obviously Rhapsody. It would be like McDonald's buying Tyson chicken and expecting Burger King and KFC to continue to buy that chicken. Of course, they would not. So where do you see the future of Echo Nest? Doesn't it permanently change Echo Nest as an agnostic provider of recommendation services? I mean, what Spotify competitor would in their right mind use Echo Nest data moving forward?
Well, I can't say because I'm not in their minds. The only thing I can say is that we're still trying to figure that out. And you'll know when we know.
Give me something more.
I have nothing more. Actually, yeah, that you'll know when we know.
Okay.
And we have no plans at the moment.
How far or close are you guys for the iOS to the new SDK to be out of beta?
I don't know. I'm really sorry. I don't know. I just flat out don't know.
Does it have more access to what the users are actually listening to outside of just playlists? Meaning like their history potentially, or at least just track listings or something?
I honestly can't say because I don't develop iOS. I'm a JavaScript developer.
Now that you've got Echo Nest as part of Spotify, is there going to be a streamlined API whereby you get back the tempo, you get back the hotness at the same time as you get back the rest of the, retrieving from the same API, single one-stop shop?
I can't promise anything. That's definitely what we want, but it's just a matter of determining what's right for the platform.
Is your Twitter handle in reference to Super Smash Brothers?
Hi. Yes, it is.
With the mobile app API, are you able to integrate into commercial apps? That is, can you charge for your app if you make an iOS app with the API?
Wow, you know what? I am a horrible person to present on the iOS. I do not know. I don't want to promise anything. I don't know. Yeah, Spotify platform is actually a better place for that. And actually, let me just add one more thing here too. That now that I have this up here, let's see. There's also our developer evangelist knows a ton more too. He's Andrew Major. He's at Major on Twitter. Also major@spotify.com. So definitely forward any questions about like, hey, is this legal? Is this not legal? Will you be knocking on my door? Can I do this to him? Who has the mic?
So on the preview API that you're doing, are you actually working with partners? Who's covering the cost on that? Are you covering the actual, preview cost on that on the licensing side, or how does that work?
As far as I know, there's no actual cost associated with that because it's just a preview. We have the licenses for that.
Anyone else?
All right, great. Thank you. Thanks, Drew. Thank you, Spotify. Definitely, that's it. Thanks, Spotify, big time. Thank you, Matt, for bringing us in here. And thanks to Jason, our sandwich guy, who brought 100 sandwiches on the subway. Thank you to Tabitha, who's been helping us out with the new website and carrying the microphone and everything else. And volunteering. And if anyone else ever has an idea and they want to volunteer, this is a community thing from the grassroots. So reach out to me and we'll figure it out. Okay, thanks everyone.